IndyCast Brasil. Let's go, guys. Hey, come on, IndyCast Brasil.
IndyCast Brasil.
Hello, Playmobil, but he's this big.
Let's go IndyCast Brasil.
Let's go IndyCast Brasil.
Let's go IndyCast Brasil.
Let's go IndyCast Brasil. Boa. IndyCast Brasil. Pessoal, obrigado pelo apoio e assiste o IndyCast. Tamo junto.
Obrigado, Hélio Castro Neves, IndyCast Brasil.
Valeu.
Let's go IndyCast Brasil.
Let's go IndyCast Brasil.
IndyCast Brasil, vamos lá, participa.
Come on IndyCast Brasil.
Come on, IndyCast Brasil.
Ok. IndyCast com o nosso querido amigo Simon Pagenaud. Simon, glad to see you here again after the incident, and I'm very happy to see that you are healthy, you're safe, and we are missing you in the track. When you're back?
I don't know yet, but I'm working on it. This weekend's very special. It's my first time back at the track. It's really for Gilles. You know, I've got Angela, Luke, and Anna here. The Farron. It's very emotional weekend for us and for the all of Brazil as well. So we're gonna celebrate Gilles the best way we can this weekend. That's what I'm here for.
It's unbelievable to separate you and Gilles in motorsports, because you will start growing up as a driver with Gilles. What Gilles really means for you as a boss, as a colleague?
Gilles is like a dad. You know, I can't speak of him in the past. I can only speak of him in the present. It's the effect he had on me. Yeah, I'm here today because of what he taught me. He was really my Yoda. You know, I love Star Wars, so I refer him as my Yoda. He taught me a lot, but he taught me about life. Recently I asked him questions about organization with my personal life. Obviously with my accident, he was my best counsel, so I miss him dearly.
We're missing him every day, and essentially we are happy to see you again back. May God bless you. Keep on, and we miss you to the race. If not as a driver, being a part of our community. Thank you very much. Ele, Bob Rahal. Mr. Rahal, how about to see the place that you dominate in the past and now watching outside the car?
Well, that's a very special place, Indianapolis, you know, and so much great history has been made here by so many people, and so it's always very exciting to come here and watch the race. You know, Sunday is going to be a tremendous race, so we're just very happy to be here and very happy to you know, be able to compete.
And what's more, I don't know, easily, to be a driver or to be a team owner working in Indianapolis?
Oh, I think driver's a lot easier. You know, as an owner, you have to work with so many people, and I think when you win this race as an owner, you truly understand how much everything has to work, you know, whereas a driver, maybe you know a little bit, but I don't think you truly appreciate it because you're not in it every day. So it's different as an owner.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rahal, and let's support the team. Thank you to hire Pietro. Thank you very much. Indianápolis com a maior lenda dos ovais, Rick Mears. It's a pleasure to meet you again after so many years. I would like to say thank you very much for that make me cry, because you are the legend. 1991, what you have done here, it's for me real the past. What you have done with Mike Condret, I'm sorry, you are the legend for us. Say a little bit for Brazil, please.
Well, you know, I tell you, we had a great time in Brazil when we raced there. It was a lot of fun. Loved the track, the people. It was a great time. And we really appreciate everything that all of you guys did for us, you know. But this place is just, you know, it's our Super Bowl, and it's the one we always get geared up for and try to win, you know, if we can. And it's just, this is just home away from home these days.
And considering Scott McLaughlin with the yellow submarine, so representative as you were a driver, what means to you right now watching outside the car?
It's a good feeling, you know. I remember the first time we ever ran that car, the first race I watched it, I thought, so that's what we look like in person. You know, you see videos and stuff, but you never see it in person. And so for him to run the same colors and everything like that, it's exciting to watch. It really is. The yellow submarine is great. You know, I've always loved that paint scheme and being very bright. You can always pick it out. But the other side of that is if you make a mistake, everybody sees it too. So.
You are the responsible for me to be a real fan of Temp2, and when you race in 88, when you dominate with All-Answer and Dennis Sullivan, it was an easy race because when we watch by TV, Ricky will define when he will gonna win. It was.
That whole race, I basically, like I've always run them, I gear up to and watch who's fast and who I'm going to have to compete with at the end for the shootout. And you always gear toward that. So we had geared toward Sneva that day because he was kind of the quickest guy out there. So he's the one I always kept my eye on all the way through the race and stayed in touch with him. And then as it boiled down to, we were going to have the shootout between Sneva and I. And then he had his problem with the CV joint, and it put him out. And I looked around, and we had a lap or two lead on the field. So then it was just a matter of no mistakes and bringing home. But the nerves get a little crazy when you have that kind of lead.
Okay, thank you very much. IndyCast Indianápolis, com o provocador dessa situação toda, eu falei para ele que ele provocou irresponsabilidade nas nossas famílias para estarmos aqui. Emerson, obrigado por tudo, obrigado por 1989, obrigado pelo passeio de 1993, obrigado por ter trazido essa paixão há 40 anos atrás no Brasil, obrigado por nos ensinar a gostar de corrida, enfim, obrigado por você ter aparecido, Dona Juse e Barão, obrigado por você ter nascido e estar aqui com a gente. O que é estar aqui depois de 31 anos da última vitória?
Não, primeiro, obrigado pela apresentação, mas o mais importante é eu agradecer a Deus.
Em nome de Jesus.
Em nome de Jesus, a gente poder estar aqui,
amém,
curtindo esse esporte maravilhoso. Aqui eles chamam a capital do mundo do automobilismo, 108 anos de história. Hoje foi um dia muito especial, ver todos esses campeões, né, fantásticos, gente que arriscaram tanto a vida para conquistar uma vitória em Indianápolis. E eu falei para o AJ Foyt, a primeira vez que eu vim testar a McLaren, em 1974, o AJ Foyt me colocou num carrinho de golfe e falou: Emerson, vem comigo que eu vou te ensinar o que você tem que fazer e o que você não pode fazer. Eu falei para ele hoje, eu falei: lembra, AJ? E é bacana ver o AJ, ele está com quase 90 anos de idade, com uma equipe firme, o Roger Penske também. Todos esses campeões, é um dia abençoado para mim hoje, a minha vida.
Assim, a gente sofreu com você no final do ano, o que aconteceu, uma perda terrível, mas é muito bom ver você aqui forte, com teus filhos, teu filho por aqui, e quem sabe em breve um outro Emerson Fittipaldi desfilando por aqui. Mas assim, Emerson, a gente sabe que isso aqui é grande, mas a gente só teve ideia de quanto isso aqui é grande quando a gente esteve aqui o ano passado. A sua corrida de 1989 te abriu portas incríveis aqui dentro, mas assim, você imaginava que seriam tão grandes ou é só uma corrida legal, então não, isso aqui é uma loucura?
Não, eu achava, a primeira vez que eu vim aqui em 74, eu vi que Indianápolis é muito grande. Eu quando com o Barão, com a minha mãe, eu tinha uns 11, 12 anos, nós só tínhamos documentário de Indianápolis, filme, e tinha um clube em São Paulo, chamava Auto Motorsport Clube, que no sábado à tarde, o pessoal era o seu Chico Landi, o Bird Clemente já estava começando, e a gente assistia esses documentários, Fórmula 1 e Indy. Então eu sempre tive o sonho de vir para Indianápolis, e Deus sempre me ajudando na minha vida inteira, me trouxe aqui, sempre com equipe boa, com gente boa. Então a Patrick, o Chip Ganassi foi a primeira vitória, depois com o Roger, e aqui foram assim 13 temporadas de muita alegria, dentro do cockpit e fora do cockpit, que é diferente um pouco da Fórmula 1.
Eu tô feliz de te ver bem, passar de tantos anos, você continua bem, continua ativo, com esse anel levemente lindo, e é bom demais. Can you borrow me, please, this one? O mais bonito que você já guiou. Na minha opinião, esse carro era lindo.
Esse carro era lindo, esse carro salvou minha vida.
IndyCast Brasil e Indianápolis, mais uma tradição sendo renovada. A gente está aqui agora entrevistando o nosso amigo, um dos meus ídolos no automobilismo, Mário Andretti. Mário, I was talking to Brazilian friends starting the interview that you are one of our idols, referencing in motorsports, and I'm very pleased to know that you are receiving us for the second time in a row. We do appreciate the time that you have selected for us. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I have many friends in Brazil, and of course drivers that we have raced together. I was just talking with Emerson earlier, and so yeah, I feel like family, so thank you for being here.
Mario, we are not taking the interview as I talked to you before enough. How about Formula 1? I don't believe the Formula 1 proceeding as they are with you guys. For me, personally, the respect with the name Andretti, with the tradition that you guys have, you and Michael as well. What do you think about?
Well, for us it's so difficult to understand why actually the American company that owns, the commercial side of Formula One, they're the ones that have given us the hard time. The international side is with us, the FIA, and I know, the majority of the teams that I've spoken to, there's no problem. We're bringing the biggest American manufacturer with us, which is first time ever that GM was officially in Formula One, and the American side of Formula One is rejecting us. It's difficult to understand this. I think the fan base is so much on our side, which is very, the fans is everything to the sport, and seem like they've been ignored in this situation, which is tragic in many ways, that we have to fight like this, where we have a big investment already, everything all set to go, but I have reason to feel positive that ultimately good reason will prevail.
Many rumors has indicated that Andretti should buy Alpine F1 team. Is it true?
Alpine is not for sale. That's buying other teams. We tried this for 2 years, and that was an option then, but now we've built so much of our own. We have a new facility in Silverstone, building here, so we are all geared up now to have our own team without buying somebody else. So that's the project that's in place now, and our objective is to be on the grid in 2026.
As I always said to you, including last year, you and Michael are guys that missing the race today, because you guys brought emotional focus, aggressive driving, and today maybe Colton, maybe Kyle, other guys. But as executive teams that you and Michael are right now, I appreciate when Michael provoked Roger Penske to promote more about the IndyCar series. What do you think about it? And do you believe in the next couple of years many things could be better than right now?
Well, all I'm saying is, I think to encourage more investment in the series, there's nothing wrong with that, because we all look into the future, and IndyCar has a great field. It's a great product, if you will, and needs to be known more, by the fan base, because the quality of the teams and the depth of talent in the driver pool is almost unprecedented, better than ever. And so it's a great series. It's a series that you could see has been around for over 100 years. And so, it deserves probably a higher level of interest in the sport, since IndyCar back in the 90s was the big one in the world. So anyway, but we're happy where we are, and we keep doing what we can ourselves, and we're very proud of what we've achieved in the sport, but also know how good the sport has been to all of us. Sport that I personally love so much. It's been Formula One is the beginning of my passion for motor racing when I was a young man. And so regardless how we're treated by outsiders in Formula One now, I love Formula One, and we want to be in it, and hopefully we will prevail. But IndyCar, again, will always be part of us, and we continue to do all of this.
I made some different questions from Formula One and IndyCar because I'm afraid, so please be honest with us. If Formula One agrees, André, to join, IndyCar program should have any risk, or will keep on?
Oh, there'll be no risk. I mean, there's a place for both, absolutely. I mean, it's a different type of series. I mean, it's motor racing, but motor racing fans usually, the real fans enjoy both. And, the tradition of IndyCar racing remains. That will always be there. And, Formula One is rival, but they both can exist, no problem.
Wonderful. Your answer take my heart feeling better right now. Let's go back to Indy, Mario. I talked to Marco yesterday. He will start between Scott Dixon and Helio Castroneves. We are about 5 IndyCar racing winning there. What would you do to advise Marco, to take control with those great drivers?
Well, he's in good company where he is, so I think that they're all capable of coming forward, and so he can either follow or, depending how the car is, just go. I'm very confident. Marco's feeling quite well about the race setup. He didn't qualify very well, but the race setup is important. He's starting way back, but the race can be won from there, so I'm just keeping my fingers crossed for him. But again, you can do worse than even follow maybe Dixon, along the way. But in a race, you can never predict. You have to do your own thing. You know what you have, the capability. If he has the setup that he can just go, you go, so.
Wonderful. And considering, as I asked you the last year, every time this place changes a little and more, and every time is better than the last year. And the honor that you guys and another drivers has received today early, you understand that you are a part of the story of the American motorsports?
Well, I like to think that, I've been around my entire professional life, in this area. I did 407 IndyCar races in my life, so I've been here, and I've enjoyed it tremendously. So I like to think that I'm a little small part of the American racing history, for sure.
I'm sorry to correct you. You'll never be a small part. You are one of the greatest part, and not only in America. You know that you have a huge fans in Brazil, many fans for the Andretti family, and essentially for you as a Formula One champion, Daytona champion, IndyCar champion, Indy 500 champion. When I tell you that you want one of the most complete drivers ever, it's not to take good words for you, because people much more specialized than me told sometimes, Mario is complete. Mario raced with intelligence and aggressive model that became him one of the most important drivers in the world. How can you receive things like that? Many generations tell us about that.
Well, again, I've been very fortunate to have a long career. You know, somebody upstairs was looking after me, and my ambition was to be able to try all the top disciplines, you know, and here again I was with good teams and gave me the opportunity to not just race there but to win. You know, for me to win in all the different categories was the ultimate satisfaction. Even in dirt track racing, I won a championship there, and then even Pikes Peak hill climb. So sports car racing, you know, all of it important to me, and I've had that opportunity. So I count my blessings every day.
Mario, just to go into the white flag, we are talking about the past, we're talking about the present. We know future remains to God, but what about your plans for the future? Because despite your age, you are still too young, much more younger than some other drivers actually. What you plan? What your feelings? What your desires? What you think for your life coming there?
Well, my plans are simple: to be around the sport forever until they put me in the box. And I have every reason, because of my son Michael. You know, his ambitions are to be at the top level of every discipline in the world. So I want to have a home in Formula One as well. We have a home everywhere now in sports cars. We have a home in NASCAR here. Now we want to have, when I go to the racetrack, I want to have a place, a home that's mine with my family there. And that's my life, you know, so that's what I live for. And all of us, that's all we do. We don't do anything else.
Okay, Andretti will be the F1 team, we believe that. But please, month of May, you are not going for Monaco. Stay here in Indianapolis, please.
Well, of course, and I will be here too, for sure.
Mario, thank you very much. Second time in a row, third time at all. You talk to us with so sympathy, humble, and you are so kind, so love with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And vamos, Brazilians.
IndyCast aqui na loucura depois do Carburation Day e a gente está com o sócio, o antigo patrão do Hélio, o Mike Schenck. Mike, glad to stop to talk to us.
Bom dia.
Bom dia. How about the expectation for the team with 3 cars?
Very tough, very, very tough. But today was great. Elio was P2 today in the warm-up or in the carb day, which is fantastic. And more than anything, he is super happy right now. If Elio's happy, I'm happy. That means we have opportunity.
I talked to him yesterday in Portuguese and in English and told to him, you are with a clear face, happy face. Are you confident? Much more confident than last year. And about you?
Yeah, much more than last year. So every year ebbs and flows a little bit with IndyCar racing here at Indy 500, but this year I can tell by the look in his face we've got something. So that doesn't mean we're going to win, but I think we have an opportunity to go forward.
And about the change that you made in the team the last year for this year with Felix and Tom, I think the good condition for the work, is it right also?
Well, not only did we put Tom and Felix Rosenquist in, but we also added Elio to the ownership group, so he has a small part of what we do here at Meyer-Shank Racing. So we love him. He's one of us. He helps build this business because it's just not the racing. There's a big business behind it too, all these partners and sponsors, and he helps build that. He's truly part of us.
IndyCast Brasil, seguindo mais uma tradição, e I was talking to Brazilian fans, how kind, how gentle you are. Dave, thank you very much to accept us. It was great to see you again today early. As we are talking before to record, how can you see IndyCar?
Well, it's a difficult question, and you prepared me for difficult questions. I mean, it's an interesting contrast, right? IndyCar right now is so... It looks like such a big deal right now with the Indy 500 because the Indy 500 it's almost certainly going to sell out. You can see the energy out there with Carb Day. So many people in the stands, so many people happy. Qualifications, practice, people are cheering the drivers here. They're excited to see them. They're excited to cheer for them. But the rest of the season, it doesn't quite have the same energy. So I think IndyCar right now needs to understand what they're doing right here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and how to take that to the other events. And I don't know the answer to that, but certainly I think they're working on that for sure.
And considering the innovation, considering that IndyCar is a product, it's a main product with a sub-products, considering the race that it has, we imagine that Indy 500 is amazing each year, growing up. And we have a strong rumor, and thanks God only rumor, that Long Beach should be going to NASCAR. We lost Texas this year, maybe tomorrow, the next year we'll be back, but let's see. The rumor that Toronto maybe should be off for the next years due to the World Cup football and soccer. And yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And Iowa should be back for exclusively NASCAR also. What do you think about?
Yeah, we're definitely worried about, I think, all of the things you mentioned, right? Iowa and NASCAR have started off to a great relationship. It's really going to come down to Hy-Vee with Iowa for sure. Looking at how much money they've spent to promote that race. I mean, they're bringing Post Malone of all people, right? A very popular musician here in the States and worldwide. So, you know, they're trying their best, but yeah, we're worried about it. I wish Texas would come back. That was an absolutely awesome race. You know, there's always talk about Toronto. You know, I don't think they're really doing Toronto many favors by putting that on Peacock here in the States. But yeah, I hope that IndyCar can get actually a more balanced and diverse calendar. I would like to see more races at different tracks. I mean, you even hear that from the drivers when we were talking about the Indy Road Course a couple of weeks ago. They're kind of tired of running the same tracks every year. They would like to go expand. I would like to see more ovals. I cannot wait to see the races in Milwaukee and the races in Nashville. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. It's difficult to find some that aren't controlled by NASCAR, but it's not impossible either. Something like Kentucky or Chicagoland, maybe IndyCar could slide in there and revitalize those tracks. So, I hope. I mean, the schedule is something that there's so many other items on the list that we need to find out. I mean, we need to find out what's going to happen with the charters. We need to find out what's going to happen in the Indianapolis 500. There's so many things going forward. There are a lot of questions about IndyCar right now and where things are going to end up. So, the schedule is definitely one of those many questions.
Yeah, that's the point, because when we check the schedule for the this year, last year, and I don't know how about to be the next year, maybe some things are going on production, and we expect for that. What do you plan regarding some rumors that NASCAR to buy IndyCar, Liberty Media to buy IndyCar, maybe other companies to buy IndyCar? I talked to yesterday during the media day. NASCAR, I think, should not be happen. I don't know what you think about. And what do you think? Because for the first time, Roger Penske mentioned to sell the IndyCar series in State Speedway. What do you think?
So there's definitely a lot of layers to that, right? The idea that Roger Penske could sell the series and keep the track is something that I think Michael Andretti brought up at one point. I think, we saw back in the kart days that worked until it didn't work. You have to keep the team owner satisfied in a situation like that, because if you're controlling the biggest race, that can create some political problems between you and the series, especially if the series is at a much lower level than the biggest race. There have been, I don't know if there's been any specific talks about NASCAR buying IndyCar, although I think there's some people who would like to see that. The Liberty Media Company, to my knowledge, has tried to buy it 3 times. I had that from a pretty good source. And each time Roger Penske has said no, and in fact told them very seriously the last time, no, we're not doing that. I don't know, it's difficult to think, because the one thing about IndyCar is it's not NASCAR, it's not Formula One, right? And you don't want to necessarily, if NASCAR bought it, now NASCAR and Liberty both own different series that are very different than the ones that make them the money. NASCAR owns IMSA, and they've done a very good job of kind of keeping IMSA what it is, not necessarily turning it into NASCAR. I'm curious to see what Liberty does with MotoGP going forward, as they just bought that. So it's not like they can't, a company that owns a bigger racing series could buy them and still preserve what IndyCar is, but I would be worried about that a little bit, especially if Liberty bought it. How do you keep IndyCar as a top level series without turning it into a Formula 2?
And considering guys in the smaller teams like Agustin Canapino, like Marcus Ericsson can make a Spider-Man race, passing all the time in a great strategy. He made good run here. What do you think about the story today that we have? Let's consider today is Friday. We will still not have the final result. And maybe when you guys watching this show, we ever know about the result. What do you think about the story that should be made here?
Well, I think you said a lot of good ones, right? I think Kyle Larson, if he did win the Indy 500, and I'm going to stand on this, is that I don't think he'll win this year, mainly because not that he will not have the race pace, not that he's not a great race car driver, one of the best in the world. I completely say that he is, but over the course of 500 miles, he's going to run into problems and mistakes that he's never experienced before. And that's what will get him. Now, next year, Kyle Larson can absolutely win the Indy 500. Bank on that one. Marcus Ericsson coming from the back of the field, I think, is a really exciting prospect, because it looks like he's figured his car out. He was 6th fastest in Carb Day practice, so that's really strong. His cars looked good. He had, I kind of mentioned Colton Herta a couple of years ago had to go to a backup car, was extremely slow, but he crashed in this practice. Marcus has had a few practice sessions to get his car dialed in, so he's a former 500 winner. We know he's going to go to the front. Agustin Canapino, the greatest qualifying run that wasn't a week ago, when it looked like he was going to be easily within the Fast 12 and would have been one of the contenders for victory. But he's also had one of the fastest cars, kind of quietly, but he's been in the top 10 of the speed charts all month long. it's going to be, it's going to be interesting because it's the second Indianapolis 500. But I think if you are looking to make some money on a bet, Agustin Canapino, put like $5 on it. You never know. That one could hit. If there's another storyline that I'm looking at the rest of the field, I think it's going to be the engine suppliers. It was such a big story this year. Chevy was having the problems with the plenum fires, which were causing all sorts of issues. It looks like with the race turbocharger boost, that isn't as big of a problem, but we saw it with Pato O'Ward a couple of years ago at St. Pete. It can happen in the race. And then Honda, it seems like they're a little bit down on power compared to Chevrolet, but typically when you're making less power, you get better fuel mileage. And in a strategy race, like it has been in the last few years, track position race, you typically are much better when you can stretch the pit stops, go a couple of laps longer or a couple of laps shorter, because then you can stretch the next run. You can make strategy decisions that can get you to the front. So I think the engine battle between Chevy and Honda is one of the big storylines as well.
Last question. We are going to keep this story, maybe possible. If Hélio Castro Neves wins the 5 times, what do you mean for the IndyCar? What do you mean for the story? Because you have legends who won 4 times, Senior, Voigt, and Rick Mears in Hélio as well. But if Hélio wins the 5, is there any kind of imagination? What should be the next plan for Indy 500?
Well, I think that if Elio did win it, it would be extremely historical, and I think the fans would like it. I think if you said, you were here in 21, you saw the excitement and the happiness and the joy that all of the race fans shared with Elio when he won. I think that if he got his 5th, this place would just explode. People would be very, very excited. I think we've embraced that history can change here too. It doesn't always have to be Voigt, Mears, Unser. It can be Castro Neves, and he can surpass them. I think it's okay for the race, and he has a very good car. You mentioned storylines. I think Elio has shown he was second in the practice today. I think his car looks very good in traffic. He could absolutely do it, and if he does, it's another chapter in the history of this great speedway, and Elio really, at that point, has set himself apart as the greatest, probably. I would say, if you have 5, you're the greatest, right? So if he can do it, especially, again, with an Indy 500 only team, a brand new chassis, almost exactly the same combination that he won the Indy 500 in 2021 doing, I think it's extremely possible, and I think it'll be popular if it happens.
Maravilha, pessoal. Acabamos de conversar com David Land, exclusivo para o Brasil, exclusivo para o IndyCast Brasil.
Audio Jungle.